Hello there, it's me, Seahorse. I'm back! For a long time, you've been left wondering where I've gone. I've been effectively missing in action for at least a year. No, I wasn't in a freak accident, or a coma, or a house fire, or even a rabid goat attack. If there was just one single cause for my disappearance, it'd be much easier and more convenient to give you a detailed explanation. But there's not. So, instead, I'd like to thank the many patrons that made this disappearance possible. So, yeah, unfortunately, I lost nearly all of my files for all of my projects. A lot of things that were in progress or nearly finished are now back to conceptual. I've had to evaluate which ones are worth starting over completely and which it might be better to just let go. It's been a hard process. I'd like to thank you all for your patience. It's been a long time since I've said anything, and it means a lot to see that some people have stuck around anyway. What have I been up to? Mostly just surviving. I'm not a superhero, I'm just me. A guy that's trying to get myself back into One Piece and maybe make a few things along the way. And I certainly haven't been able to make as much as I've wanted to. I don't feel like I have a lot to show for it. But, well, I'm always undervaluing my work. I look back at all I've done and, whoa, I did get stuff done in that time somehow. Boy, do I have something to show you. So, strap in. This one's a really long ride. If you know me through one of my creations, chances are that you are probably unaware of my many other projects. I've got a one laptop production studio packed with stuff I'm working on. See, I like to work on multiple projects all at once because it increases my productivity. Instead of twiddling my thumbs and spinning in circles when I come to a dead end or get burnt out, I just hop on to the next project. As a result, I'm able to produce a lot of things all at once. So don't worry, I don't have a main project that's pushing everything else to the side. When I spend time on something different, it doesn't mean I'm spending less time on the stuff you're interested in. This is when I'd be taking a break anyway. That's just how I operate. For a few years now, my mode of operation has been quietly shifting.
Not the project hopping part.
I've been rectifying what slows me down and decreases the quality of my stuff.
That would be the go it alone, throw stuff at the wall part.
Turns out, you can be twice as productive if you're playing ball with a catch partner.
Instead of a wall.
Having a second person help out means you have someone to catch your idea, turn it over, and throw it back.
Because walls don't have arms.
Behold, my wall replacement!
I have arms!
So, it's not just me over here making things anymore. My friend Mermy is a studio partner now. She's been incredibly helpful with basically all of my projects. I honestly can't count the amount of times she's helped me when I was stuck on a problem. So much of my work requires a lot of problem solving to be able to execute my lofty visions. So it's pretty helpful to have someone who can break down the parts of the problem to find a proper solution to it.
At the outset, Seahorse just asked me for occasional feedback or beta testing, but over time I turned into a permanent editor and creative design assistant. First, I was just grammar checking scripts for Chef Fred, but then I started tutoring him for English. Kinda ended up his full-time English teacher because his classes sucked and had taught him nothing except MLA format and anxiety. Somehow, that morphed into this situation where he runs every idea and project by me and I pin it to my fridge. I try to find the best possible iteration of every idea and help build threads to tie them all together. Sometimes I'll help with concept art or edit paragraphs for better flow. Sometimes I scratch my head and say, what? Procedural animation? That sounds like super Greek! And sometimes I offer an idea that fundamentally overhauls the gameplay or lore. Often I end up being useful even for concepts I don't understand, because he'll be trying to explain to me how it works and then stumble on the solution during his explanation. I like to think of myself as a big old comb. When he gets stuck on a project or makes a mistake, I help him sort out the tangled threads and solve the problem. Then he runs off and plugs away at his little task until it gets tangled again. I'm very glad to be able to help, and proud that I can be a part of these projects. It can be overwhelming to constantly have so much on my plate, but it's still a ton of fun.
Finally, the big news. We are changing our name from S'mores to Ghillie Lantern Studios. See, I used to call this thing S'mores for stop motion and other random stuff, but I don't do stop motion at all anymore. Haven't for a very long time. So the old name doesn't fit and also doesn't really reflect the main focus of my projects either. The new name and logo have been designed to better reflect our goals and philosophy.
When we sat down to discuss a logo, we had a couple of goals on the table. First and foremost, it had to be recognizable. We wanted a main symbol that wasn't very common or cliched. A rocket or an owl or a lightning bolt are easy enough to draw nicely, but there's so many companies with those logos that ours would just get lost in the mess. It also needed to be simple enough to be recognized when partially obscured or reproduced at low resolutions. Secondly, we wanted it to be pretty. We didn't want any sleek, sophisticated, modern logos that were just lumpy shapes or italicized French words. It ought to be a picture, and the picture ought to be one that was nice to look at. Thirdly, we wanted the logo to actually convey information about us and what our goals are. This point took a lot of discussion, and if people are interested, we can make another video sometime explaining the entire thought process. What we decided was that we think every core member of a project deserves to have their contributions recognized, and that end credits don't usually cut it, because barely anyone reads those. Instead, it would be awesome to represent the whole project team in the logo itself. The base logo would be a symbol of some kind that could be displayed on every product, surrounded by representations of the team members who are involved with that particular project. We iterated through lots of concepts, but settled on a main studio mascot, the Moss Child, leading a procession of characters that changes on a case-by-case basis. When representing just the studio itself, we can use the Moss Child. When it's a specific project, we'll have the parade. Oh, and also moss animals, because look at their little faces!
Yeah, I think they're pretty cute too. As eager as we are to update our profile with the new look, we've decided to wait a week before updating the channel, just so people don't get a Discord ping or find this video in their feed and wonder, who is that?
Some of you might know me because of my Minecraft maps. I am so sorry. Jokes aside, I really don't have any future plans for actually continuing making those. Uh, Not that I won't, but I just generally have other projects I'd rather be working on right now. Maybe later, who knows.
I'm sorry to inform everyone that the Chef Fred episode I was working on last time you heard from me has been cancelled. Sorry about that. I've cancelled it because I've been working on developing a better rendition of the show, with better animation, writing, plot development, and production. However, I am going to get all the bits I had already made for episode 5 and assemble them as best as I can to show you what the episode would have been like. I will warn you, it's not going to be great. I just know that some people were looking forward to it, so I'd like to at least give you what I have. I'll put out an announcement on the Discord server when it's up. Chef Fred is coming back, but much better. I've been spending the past few years honing my writing skills.
Frick you, public schools!
I think from the scripts I have so far, this new version is going to be something special. Here's just a little excerpt that I've written for the episode. Shoot! Sorry, I meant this one.
You're done good, Fishy. I'm a very proud wall replacement.
So here's a first look at Chef Fred, Take 2, Episode 1. I don't have too much actually animated yet. I'm still writing the scripts, and this one is looking to be a really large episode. Most of the work I've put in is on scripts, designs, and the pipeline I'll be using to create the look and feel of the show. I can't give away too much about the plot, but here's some concept art for it. The episode is going to deal with some really heavy topics, and as a result, it's a little harder to write. I don't have any clear deadlines, but I'll keep you guys updated with it. I'm planning on making a pre-production animatic in the coming weeks and posting it for you guys. And now, the news everyone's been waiting for. As mentioned prior, the old version of Piffily that I advertise in the updates is completely gone. I mean, I have the .exe files, but you can't open those types of files and edit them like you would a normal game folder. So I can show you the footage of what the game has, but I can't actually get my code out of them and develop it any further.
Fortunately, that kind of tragedy doesn't keep Seahorse down for long. After a suitable period of mourning, he jumped right back in and started rebuilding the game from scratch, but with more optimized code, more accessible controls, better enemy AI, better rendering, and procedurally animated elements. He's got it to the point where we have nearly all of the movement options from the original version, plus a few new ones that we'll be using for the upgrades. We haven't added back some of the features quite yet, but the total volume of content we've got is actually greater than what existed before, and it can actually run on brick computers now. Let's have a look.
Most of the textures here are placeholders I've put together.
We can't use the original art because we've reprogrammed the animation system. We nicknamed the new one Mr. Floppy.
Mr. Floppy uses bones, rake casting, and math to procedurally animate creatures and environments. He's a complex character, so we'll make a separate video sometime explaining how he works. What you need to know right now is that for him to do his job, he needs entity models that are made in several overlapping pieces instead of just one solid body.
Unfortunately, this means that a lot of the original art is unusable, even if we had a complete set of animation frames for it. So I'm in the process of redrawing everything. For the time being, a lot of the rooms are going to look dark and empty, and the entities may sometimes look off-kilter, oddly proportioned, or cartoonish. Don't worry, things will match much better as we go forward.
Overall, I'm actually kind of glad I was forced to restart. I mean, we're getting a much better game out of it. The plan is to release a teaser trailer sometime in the next few weeks. After that, we'll try to keep you updated with small development notes every 2 weeks or so. If all goes well, the new Piffly demo should be available next summer.
We also have a backup plan for a smaller content release in case of doomsday scenarios that delay development on the demo. That way, if we can't meet our goal for releasing it, we'll still be able to give you something to play with and talk about.
In any case, Piffly is still a go and has recovered from the crisis pretty well. We're quite excited to show you what we've done so far.
It's a lot.
More news is coming soon. The music you've been listening to has all been composed by me. That's right, I do music now, and as a result, I've accidentally made an entire album. It's a giant thing with 84 minutes worth of music. Here's some snippets from it. be posting a few of them on YouTube leading up to the album release. My test audiences are responding really positively to it, so I hope that's something to look forward to. A while back, I made a game for the GMTK Game Jam, and it was actually so good, I decided, hey, why not make it a full game? So, over the span of a year, I have put in a total of a month's work to make this project. Say hello to the misadventures of Hoppy and Betty. It's a puzzle game where you're Hoppy, a frog who's just there to be there. What's the goal? I don't know. You just generally cause mayhem. There's like some sort of a story here, but it's not too important because Hoppy is a frog and frogs hate reading. It's a scientific fact. A frog fact. Making a single mistake can be undone. If you want to get somewhere and don't want to repeat puzzles, you can just use the conveniently placed fast travel. There are a lot of features that help save time, because unlike most puzzle games, I want my game to mostly be about solving puzzles, not having to redo things you already did.
Oh, did we mention this game's going to be free to play? No microtransactions or anything like that. I mean completely free.
I'll keep you guys updated, but this game is still in the early stages of being developed, so bear with me. Predicting when the release date might be is like predicting the weather. I've left a link in the description to the original Game Jam game if you'd like to check it out. It's roughly made, but it should give you an idea of the basic gameplay. I'm going to release a proper reveal trailer sometime soon, so keep an eye out for that. I've been working quite hard on all of this, so it's very exciting to finally tell you about it.
Thanks so much for waiting on us. We hope to reward your patience with an absolutely stellar set of projects.
Things have been going pretty smoothly for the past few months, so I've been getting stuff done really quickly. Hopefully, everything will stay that way for the long run. We'll provide updates as often as possible, but videos take time to produce.
Time that we could be spending on programming and stuff.
If you want even more information at a faster pace, try joining our Discord channel, where we'll drop information into the chat sometimes.
You can even ask us questions anytime we're online, which is almost every day.
Heck, if you're lucky, we might be working on something at the moment you ask, and we'll send you a small screenshot of it.
Finally, if you do want to support us in getting stuff done faster while also being able to afford our SpaghettiOs, consider supporting us on Patreon. We know everyone is broke these days, so while we have the typical tier levels, we also have a $1 one for people who want to help but normally couldn't afford it.
We wanted to make it 10 cents, but Patreon has a minimum transaction amount and wouldn't go any lower.
That said, please understand that we do not want anyone sending us their SpaghettiO money. If you're really low on finances, please spend that on your own necessities and not ours.
These games and things are getting made no matter what, and risking your health to make them a bit faster is not worth it.
You can still offer us your support just by being part of our community and sharing our stuff with the people you know. We're very thankful for any level of support, and we love you no matter what that is.
Except the Tuttengarf level.
Except that